Story 1. I did something huge last week that my mom can never find out about. My mother embodies narcissism in its purest form. Everything revolves around her. My dad ends up in the hospital due to a health issue. How dare he not realize how much this would affect her? Doesn't he understand she can't live alone? I get a tattoo. How could I betray her like that? What will people think of her? Spoiler alert, I got 3 more tattoos after that. Her housekeeper retires to care for her grandchildren while the parents go back to work. How dare those kids have kids if they can't manage it on their own? It's so selfish of them to not hire a nanny so grandma can keep her help. Doesn't everyone understand that my mother needs her housekeeper? At 18, when I was diagnosed with depression and generalized anxiety disorder, I made the unfortunate decision to tell her. The backlash was nothing short of a disaster. She completely lost it. How could I see a therapist? How could I take crazy pills? What would people think of her, having a daughter who's mentally ill? I wasn't really sick. I was just trying to get attention and make her look bad. She demanded I stop it immediately, threatening to cancel my health insurance and disown me. Keep in mind, I was a broke, college-aged 18-year-old at the time. So I did what any good daughter in the grip of the FOG, fear, obligation, guilt would do. I quit therapy. I stopped taking my medication. The next 15 years of my life were a blur of high-stress jobs in 2 different fields, both of which subjected me to physical attacks. On top of that, I endured multiple abusive relationships, all while my anxiety and depression went untreated. I'm amazed I survived it all. Now, in my 30s, I own my own home, and I've finally found a job where I'm not at risk of being physically assaulted or threatened with violence. My job is still high stress, but in a manageable, fast-paced way, not in a I'm just trying to survive a week without being physically harmed at work kind of way. But privately, I'm still a mess. For nearly 2 decades, I've been just holding on, untreated, and it's finally catching up to me. I wake up in the middle of the night, gripped by panic, replaying everything I might have done wrong that day. If I make the tiniest mistake at work, no matter how inconsequential, I spiral into a panic attack, retreating to the bathroom to cry because in my mind, I'm worthless. Surely, I'll be fired. Then I'll never find another job. I'll lose my house. My dog will hate me and run away. And then the world will end. That's how my brain works. So when my doctor casually mentioned that I looked tired at my annual physical, I broke down. I spilled everything to her. She prescribed me Zoloft, gave me Xanax for emergencies, and found a therapist I could afford through my insurance. When I told her I couldn't go through with it because of how my mother would react, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Well, that's the beauty of HIPAA. Your mother will never know unless you choose to tell her." And it hit me like a ton of bricks. She was right. I've been gray rocking my mother for years and maintaining low contact with her. No full NC because I want to stay in touch with my father, which requires that I keep some level of relationship with my mom. So, my mother didn't need to know. I didn't have to suffer in silence anymore. There was no shame in asking for help. That moment was a revelation, and since then, my world feels a little brighter. Comment 1. Sending you hugs if you'd like them. Thank God for HIPAA. You might want to make sure that your mom is not your emergency contact on anything, especially at any of your doctors. You might not want to have your dad as your emergency contact since info could get back to your mom. Do you have a or really good friend who would be willing to be your emergency contact? I am proud of you for wanting to take care of yourself and for having the courage to tell your doctor. That took guts, which you have a lot of. We're all rooting for you. Comment 2. I'm so happy your doctor listened and helped right away. Comment 3. Glad you're feeling better already. Just stick with it and have good communication with your doctors. It doesn't make anyone look bad because, like the doctor said, only people you tell will know. I hope you continue on a positive path to feeling and being your best. Good luck and congrats on making it this far. Story 2. Nmom in love with her son. So yesterday, my sister-in-law texted my husband saying that my Nmom brought back some souvenirs from her trip to Italy and that we should come by to pick them up. For context, I'm 4 months postpartum. I'm still physically healing, emotionally adjusting, and trying to protect my peace as a new mom. The whole time we were there, my Nmom kept kissing my daughter, even though I've already made it clear that's a boundary. She also couldn't stop commenting on how much my daughter looked like her son, like I didn't contribute anything to this baby. It was nonstop subtle digs and passive-aggressive remarks directed at me, just enough to be dismissive but not bad enough to call out on the spot without looking like the dramatic one. Then, when she brought out the souvenirs, she looked at me and said, "Here, put these in my granddaughter's diaper bag," and tossed them across the table at me. Yes, literally through the bag. Everyone saw it happen, and no one said a word. Now, let me be clear, I was respectful the whole time. I let her hold the baby. I didn't make a scene when she crossed the line by kissing her. I kept my composure. But after that, I told my husband flat out, if your mom can't respect me as your wife and as the mother of our child, she will lose access to that child. Period. Because this isn't just about souvenirs or offhand comments. It's about respect. And I've earned that. I deserve that. So no, I don't think I'm wrong for saying it. I think I'm finally standing up for myself. Comment 1. Maybe you should throw them back and say you hold them until she is old enough to tell you to knock off the nastiness. Comment 2. You said, am I wrong for telling my husband that if his mother doesn't respect me as his wife or the mother of his child, that she will lose grandchild privileges? No. You probably would also not be wrong if you told your husband that if he doesn't respect you as his wife and the mother of his child and stop her disrespectful behavior, that he may lose his husband privileges. You have a husband problem. Story 3. Gay visiting boundaries for the hospital. A few weeks ago, I posted about how we decided to share my C-section date, and now I have an update. After several days of talking with my partner, drafting what to say to his parents, I finally sent a group text to him, his parents, and myself. Maybe my husband should have sent it, but I did because I wanted to take the lead, and frankly, I was daring my Nmom to say something about what we'd agreed on as parents to our last child. We told them that, due to recovery from my C-section, we'd like them to come visit the day after the surgery for just an hour. We also mentioned that we weren't having visitors postpartum for a while as we adjust. We offered to plan something later in the summer if they couldn't make it. My Nmom completely lost it. She texted my husband separately, of course. In her message, she blasted us, saying our request was ridiculous. She said she knows how hard C-sections are because she had one with my husband, but she didn't think it should be an issue. She also criticized us for not visiting in 4 years, even though it hasn't been that long, and she felt disrespected by our request. She then said, if you ever want us to be part of your life, things need to change. Every time she threw something at my husband, he shot it down. He pointed out that birth is hard on both parents, not just the mother. When she brought up COVID and said we were using the C-section as an excuse, He reminded her that having 3 kids back to back and balancing 2 jobs isn't easy. He made it clear that he wasn't trying to disrespect her, but they needed to understand our boundaries. She kept blaming me, but he kept responding with facts. He explained how our oldest gets car sick and that it's hard for us to travel. When she mentioned my sister-in-law, he clarified that there were no issues with her or her family, but they weren't invited either. He ended by saying, if you wanted us involved, there wouldn't be time limits, and told her that my parents had the same restrictions because they live closer. Later, my FIL called my husband. Unlike my MIL, he asked questions. He acknowledged that my parents live closer and are more involved, but he respected our decision and said he'd follow our wishes. After all the back and forth, my husband said he's not sure if his relationship with his mom will ever recover, and it's probably just how things will be from now on. We still don't know if they're coming, and I told my husband I hope they don't. But they can't just show up unannounced. They don't even know which hospital I'm delivering at, so they'd have to check with us first. Honestly, I'm okay if neither of them shows up, but I'd be fine if my FIL comes alone. Comment 1. Newsflash. NASA just reported that your DH's shiny spine is visible from the International Space Station. You two are a formidable team. Comment 2. If you ever want us to be a part of your life, things need to change. I'd repeat that back to them. Who the hell do she think they are? Comment 3. I would completely shut down any mention of any sort of visit after her bullshit. No longer welcome. She's not going to play nice, the end. They're not worth your breath or explanation. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.